Exley, however, has a very different path laid out before him now. On the same Christmas Eve morning, he is summoned to the captain's office to discuss his testimony in the Bloody Christmas case, a highly sensationalized event depicting the assault of several Mexican prisoners. District Attorney Loyu and Captain Dudley Smith sit and wait for him inside. The atmosphere is heavy. Smith states that the grand jury is convening over Bloody Christmas and indictments will be handed down. Although Loyu wants Stensland to plead ignorance to the details of the case, Dudley wants Exley to corroborate what occurred. Exley refuses to tailor his report toward the defense of Stensland, making the point that by that evening some of the taco vendor crooks were already confessing, having been told to tell the truth to secure a lighter sentence, claiming Stensland did not hit them at all. To make Exley's choice more clear for him, Loyu offers Exley the promotion to lieutenant with the explicit understanding that such a thing would come with a transfer out of Vice, an offer Exley also refuses. This is no Christmas gift, but clearly a test for Exley. He does not take kindly to what he's hearing. Despite being threatened on multiple fronts with a damaged future if he does not participate in the cover-up, Exley leaves the meeting set on reporting events as they actually happened and as quickly as possible, though he can see that there will be consequences for his actions. News of the Night Owl Massacre is consuming the precinct and the city. District Attorney Loyu holds a press conference promising swift justice for the heinous crime where 6 people were murdered, including Detective Stensland, seemingly in a robbery gone wrong. Loyu reports that robbery is the most likely motive, citing rubber glove smears on the register and preliminary forensics indicating 3 Negro juveniles discharging shotguns in Griffith Park at the same time, indicating the 3 Negro juveniles are considered prime suspects. The announcement of Lieutenant Exley's promotion is met with a chorus of backhanded cheers and smirks. White's brooding silence is a sharp contrast to the celebratory mood. In response to the district attorney's mandate to go after any Maroon Mercury coup made between 1948 to 1950, 48 two-man teams of detectives are assigned, with Exley leading interrogations. However, Bud and White depart to investigate the information that they've secured from Nick's liquor store, following leads of their own, which brings them to a hillside home, a modern architectural marvel overlooking the entire city. As White walks up the steps, a groundskeeper continues hitting golf balls on the home's manicured lawn. White asks the groundskeeper if this is the residence of Pierce Patchett and whether he knew anything about the girl that was murdered in the Night Owl Massacre, to which the groundskeeper replies, "The girl, Lynn Bracken, was one of Patchett's own." He continues that he's known her longer than he's known White, though he won't share more details on the spot as he's there doing his work. White tells him to go ahead down to the driveway where they can talk more. As White and Pierce converse, Detective Gallagher arrives to serve Pierce Patchett with a subpoena. White tells Lynn she needs to be cooperative. Lynn retorts she doesn't know anything. She further added she would appreciate if White would not bother her until she made a call. Meanwhile, Jack takes Lynn into a darkened theater where a series of vintage stag films are being screened. Jack intends to utilize his connections with the DA to boost Matt Reynolds, the aspiring actor's career. Sid is there to document it all, with Matt posing for pictures with Da Lu as a jazz band plays in the background. Jack assures Matt that through this plan he smells a comeback. Matt is skeptical, but after taking a swig of the hard liquor he was offered, he agrees to give it a shot. After Matt and Jack head out to the next activity, Sid asks Jack about Pierce Patchett. Jack relates that Patchett is what he would call Twilight. He ain't queer and he ain't red. He cannot help Sid in his quest for prime sinuendo. Later that night, Jack informs Exley that he now has a better understanding of Patchett. He invests in freeway construction and is getting richer by the day. Exley retorts what he's heard about rumors, high-class porn, drugs, hookers that look like movie stars. Jack adds, he's what I call Twilight, he ain't queer and he ain't red. He cannot help me in my quest for prime sin, you, Lendo. Later that evening, Exley is parked outside a quiet, bungalow-lined Echo Park neighborhood as it gently rains. He exits the vehicle and heads underneath one of the bungalows. Inside, he finds Buzz Meeks, completely unrecognizable, entombed beneath the house and in the advanced stages of decomposition. Exley finds a wallet and opens it, pulling out Buzz Meeks' driver's license, the Polaroid image of a much younger man with high hopes staring back at him. He picks up a length of twine that's been tied in knots. Exley folds the $50 bill and dumps it into a glass containing whiskey. A drink will steady his nerves, and a little bit of the high life makes it all bearable. Back at the police station, Exley is summoned by Captain Dudley Smith, to which Exley walks into Dudley's office. Dudley shuts the door firmly. After briefly acknowledging the Polaroid and then promptly returning it, Dudley says it's part of a private investigation. Exley asks him if that meant this investigation doesn't have a case to work on. Dudley adds that, on top of everything, this situation involves a large supply of heroin and the situation doesn't smell clean. He quickly adds for the situation to be handled properly. Exley informs him that he's to tail Bud White until he goes on duty this evening. Exley departs from Dudley's office. Bud, having now acquired the information about Patchett's blackmail operation, races out of the bungalow and heads to Captain Dudley Smith's house. As Dudley peers out from his home, a car pulls up and an enraged Sid Hudgens calls out for Dudley. After being led into the house, Sid is assaulted by Bud White and is then forced to divulge everything he knows. He claims that Pierce Patchett has him photographing a cop screwing a gorgeous slut named Lynn Bracken who looks just like Veronica Lake. Exley and White begin to pummel Sid for the information, as a whimpering Sid reveals that Patchett has blackmail material of Dalot in his car under the rug in the trunk. Bud drives to Patchett's luxurious mansion and forces his way into the home to gather evidence and, more importantly, to find Lynn Bracken. Ed Exley heads to Vice to search Buzz Meeks' file, finding nothing. A clerk mentions the daily report books may be stored in the basement. Exley finds sheet Dudley Smith's report for Sunday, June 9, 1950, indicates that both Leland Meeks and Dick Stensland had the day off, raising Exley's suspicions. Outside Patchett's home, Bud confronts Lynn about her connection to the blackmail scheme. Bud begins to raise his hand and almost strikes Lynn, but pulls himself away just before making contact. At that moment, Ed arrives at the Patchett house, prompting an emotional Bud to flee the scene. Meanwhile, Ed walks inside and demands to know what happened. He learns that Patchett made her up, designed her to look exactly like Veronica Lake, and that she despises him. Ed wants to get Lynn away from the dangerous situation, but Dudley soon arrives on the scene. The two begin to get heated, and Exley realizes Smith intends to kill him. Smith shoots Patchett point blank in the chest, prompting a full-blown firefight in the mansion, a shootout that has a fleeing Exley narrowly avoiding death. Once outside, Bud White reappears, only for Dudley Smith to shoot him and claim that Exley had killed both Bud and Patchett. He tells Ed that now he will be a hero, to which Exley stares back at him in shocked silence. At a Medal of Valor ceremony held in Exley's honor, where Dudley will be presenting him with his award, Exley has an epiphany and realizes that Dudley Smith had planned and executed everything from the start. Having had enough, Exley, while accepting the medal, presents his evidence against Captain Smith at a formal hearing. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.